Hi everyone, this is OK Manuel, and in today's class I'll be teaching you about support and resistance, and I'll be showing you everything you need to know about support and resistance. I'll be teaching you the types of support and resistance, how to find support and resistance, and even how to treat them. Now I would like you to grab your pen and paper or a cup of coffee or whatever thing that you will really need to ensure that you stay to the very end of this video, because in this video I'll be revealing those top secrets about support and resistance that no guru out there is willing to tell you, and that's why you really need to pay attention to every information that I will be giving you. So if you are a new subscriber, I will advise you to hit the red subscribe button as well as turn on the notification bell icon, because what this does is that it gets you notified before every other person the moment we upload new videos like this very one. So also comment down below, tell me what exactly you've known so far about support and resistance, and then what you intend to accomplish with your knowledge of support and resistance after watching this video. So without wasting much time, let us get into it. Welcome once again. So just like said earlier, we will be talking about support and resistance. Now the question here is, what is support? Now if you are new to trading, you may have heard about the word support and resistance a few times, but if you are an intermediate trader or someone who's been trading for quite some time, you already know what it is. But the question here is this: how do you apply this support and resistance in your trades, and how do you use this support and resistance in able to get the best out of your trades? And that is exactly what I will be revealing in this video. So it doesn't matter whether you are a beginner trader, an intermediate trader, or even advanced trader, because in this industry learning never stops, and that is why you need to stay to the end of this video to grab whatever it is that you have to learn about support and resistance. So basically, when we talk about support and resistance, like, let's begin with resistance. Now what resistance simply means is a temporary barrier that prices meet whenever they are going up. Now let's take for instance, if price begins to move from this point here all the way to probably somewhere around here. Now I want you to notice that when price began its movement from this place, what actually happened was there were periods where price had to break down. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. Price had to take a break because it was somehow finding difficulty in breaking through this particular barrier. Now we call this place a resistance. Are you seeing this? From history you can notice that this was a former support turned into a resistance in this place. Let me use this the rectangle tool to mark it up for you. You will notice that this was a support, because I will tell you about support and resistance. It's about support. Just give me a moment. Let's deal with resistance. Now, this is a resistance. Can you see this? Notice what happened. Previously, this portion of this place held, because when price was falling, price met a temporary barrier that held it and prevented it from falling directly the way it was falling. Probably, let's say it was falling on free fall, and then for whatever reason it met a support, because support is always below and resistance is above. So when price is falling and then meets a temporary, or it's mostly temporary, because I will call it temporary because almost every there is no support or resistance line or area that is not broken. Now, I will be teaching you not in this particular class, because I'll try to make sure I'll try to make sure that this video doesn't become lengthier than it's supposed to be, but I'll be showing you the best way to trade support and resistance. That's trading from zones, or treating support or resistance as an area and not just as an area, a zone, and not just as a line. You understand? So now, prices were falling from somewhere around here, which is 1.21691. Price started falling, kept falling, okay, encountered a little support, went back, then kept falling, and then got to this place and then sustained. It rested. You get it? Now, after resting at this point, what happened here was that immediately after the rest, price now was not finding it easy to keep falling, so it met a support area now. So immediately after that, now look at what happened. Notice what happened here. This same area that was a support zone or support area has now become a resistance area for this particular place. And if I'm teaching you a particular trading strategy, I would tell you that whenever it breaks this particular place, because a previous support that turns into a resistance and then later got broken, I would really advise you to take advantage of that trade, because you are really going to be in for a long ride. Well, I didn't reach, okay, to an extent at least. There was some ride of about at least just 53 pips, considering the fact that we are in the 15 minutes time frame. So now I want you to, in summary, just understand that support is a temporary line or area or zone that prevents prices from continually falling. You understand? So, and then resistance is an area, a zone, or a line that prevents prices from continuously going up. So it's a temporary resistance that prices meet when going up. Now, you all know that when we are going up in the forex market, we are talking about buy, and then when we are going down, we are selling for you to be profitable. So now, next thing we will be looking at is types of support and resistance. Now, there are two major types of support and resistance, and this includes the horizontal support and resistance, then the diagonal support and resistance. So now let me show you. The example I just showed you here is an example of a horizontal support and resistance, because this was a support for this price that was falling, and then this is a resistance for this price that was going up. So now remember, okay, also notice the way that when prices started coming, it had a way of remembering this zone, this area. That's why I told you that it will be very bad to just treat support and resistance as just a line, because these are some of the things that those gurus won't tell you. They just draw lines for you and make it look like it's just a line, but not really a line. This is still a zone or an area that if you look at, just notice this. Can you see? So if you look very well, or if we go to the higher time frame, we'll even have it better, and then you will know that this is just still a zone that this price had to come back into and then took off again. So this is an example of a horizontal support and resistance. Now look at another example here. This here, can you see? Let me label it red since it's the top. Can you see? So this is now a resistance. Can you see? This is a resistance, this is a support. Now somewhat, if depending on the time frame you are, now this is what you might also call a range. When we'll be dealing with the types of market and the way and their movements, I would talk about that one. So now you come down after that, just remember that we have the horizontal support and resistance. So clearly this is a horizontal support, whereas a resistance, whereas this is a horizontal support. Now the same thing applies even if we go down to another chart in another time frame. You can see that let me see if I can get anywhere around. Okay, so this is it. There are just a bunch of them here, but okay, now can you see this point? What did you notice here? You can notice point A. Let me label it for you so you understand what I'm talking about. Point A, let me see, let me use R1 as point, as in resistance 1. Then I can copy. A simple way to do the copying is you can just simply click on, hold the control key if you're using Windows, or the command key when you're using Apple, and then click and drag. That is just the way you can copy any objects that you have already drawn on your MetaTrader 4. Now, so okay, there will be need for me to rename this label, and then under object properties I make it 2, and then this will be 3. Okay, so now notice what happened here. This is resistance point 1, resistance point 1, then this will be resistance point 2, resistance point 3. Okay, you can notice even the 4th time, this was also the 4th time. Yeah, it did as if it broke it, but no, remember there has to be a full candle that closed above the line. Now I didn't really see this line when I was drawing this, to tell you how powerful these support and resistance lines are, because what really happens here is that it's just like a kid who got burnt by a very hot pot, or that was on fire. So after getting that burnt, and then the wound of that burn is still there, and then he, for whatever, after some time he grew up, even if he's still a kid, whenever he looks at that burn, if he goes into the kitchen, he will remember that no, he must have to be very careful this time around to ensure that he is not going close to any hot pot. And that's exactly what happens in trading. Prices have a way of remembering that, oh, somehow for whatever reason I was around here and then I got burnt. So notice what happened here. Price was here, started falling, went back to this point, and immediately after this point it started falling again, came back again, attempted that place, and then fell. Now this is looking like a scenario what we will call a pattern, a chart pattern that we will call double bottom. Others we even say triple bottom, because 1, 2, 3. So because this pattern is mostly built on the basis of support and resistance. So this is a classical example of a resistance, because prices keeps rejecting at this particular line now. So, and if I've already shown you an example of support, a support will just be the opposite of this. Instead of going up, it will be coming down, and that's horizontal support. Now you can see this also another example of what horizontal resistance. Can you see this? This is also another example. So if we are to talk about support and resistance, we cannot do justice to this topic if we have not talked about the different types of support and resistance. And to me, one of the most powerful one I respect so much is the diagonal support and resistance. Now I just showed you the horizontal type of support and resistance. For emphasis sake, let me check through any other chart and then show you an example of support. Okay, let me see. Okay, this is something I can hold on to. Can you see? Notice this. Just notice how it held. Can you see this? Can you see this? This is 0.1. Should we label? Okay. We don't get lazy with labeling, so we will do the labeling. This is resistance support now, so it should be S. Okay, let's use the letter S, the alphabet S, to denote this. Support 1. Okay, then remember what I told you. Hold Control key, click and drag. Boom, you click on it to select, then properties 2, then you see this is even the third one. I was only thinking it was only 2, so oh, there was even a fourth time. Yeah, just that this one was deeper. Okay, and it doesn't mean actually, so long as there is no complete candle close. Now a full candle closing below this point, below this line, notice that what happened here all through was a clear rejection. Can you see? It was a clear rejection. Price is rejected. There was no full body candle close, and notice exactly what happened here. Now at this point, this place got broken, and notice what happened. There was a full candle close. This red candle here, let me zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. Can you see this red candle here, this particular one? This one, can you see this red candle here closed below it? And look at what the effect was. The after effect was that there are other prices now, other candles kept pushing down. But to me, I will not really consider this a clear break, because after then you can notice this bold giant bullish candle here, and then this was also to show you that price is not really willing to move away from this zone, and then it went back again. But just focus your attention on this. This is just what I'm trying to show you. Notice support 1, support 2, support 3, support level 4. So price is kept rejecting at this line, at this zone. So this is what we call a horizontal support. Remember, I showed you that that's a resistance. A horizontal resistance is just a direct opposite of a horizontal support. So that being said, we'll jump into the next one, which is diagonal support and resistance. Now, when we talk about diagonal support and resistance, most of you must have seen it, but you don't really know that that's what it is. So, and basically it's dealing with trend lines, what we call trend lines. And how is it being done? Easily, you connect point A with point B, the highest point in point A, the highest point in point B. Can you see this here is what we call a diagonal resistance, because what is happening here is that price at this point is falling, touched here for the second time, continued falling. So we have established a point. Now we don't know what it is in the future. Oh my god, can you see how perfect this is? Now if I begin to teach you price action, you will understand what actually played out here, and you will really take advantage of this and make a serious money from this market. Now imagine that you were able to understand the concept of diagonal support and resistance, especially diagonal resistance. Now, since we were discussing about diagonal resistance, and then you patiently waited for this trade to get activated I told you that this is my favorite, because this is where you can easily make a lot of money, because from this point you can ride this to wherever it's willing to go. Now imagine taking a trade from somewhere here and going all the way down to 139 pips in the market. Come on, there will be nothing as sweet as this to any trader out there, but not without you knowing the skill. You can't just guess these things. You might guess for the first time and get it right, but subsequently you can't always get it right. So notice, remember we say point A. Now we can say, you can also label it as simple, just like the way I taught you. This is now resistance 1, resistance 1, then you drag it, resistance 2. Should I leave you to do the numbering? Okay, let me just do it. No, this is the trend line. Notice what happened. I'm still selecting the trend line. So okay, so now I can just right click, please, to save time, because it's not really coming. So resistance 2, and then the next one we have is resistance 3. And at this point, resistance 3, you can see that, sorry, I didn't grab here. Okay, so resistance 3, and then resistance 3 now. Remember, if you double click on it, you can also edit from there. So okay, let me zoom in so you can see. Can you see? Zoom out. Yeah, zoom out, sorry. So you can see resistance 1, 2, 3, and then until it attempted a break. We can't really see. Let's zoom in this time around. Notice what happened. So now this is what we call a failed breakout. It was a breakout. Don't worry, when I'll be teaching you trend line analysis, as in the trend line trading strategy properly, you will understand how to really take advantage of this strategy and make money. So resistance 1, 2, 3. So now this is a practical example of a diagonal resistance. So next, what we'll be looking for is an example of what? A diagonal support. Okay, and basically what we do is just simple. Connect the first point, look for where price is, adjoining it as in respecting a particular trend line. Now let me say I delete this. Can you see? So this is support 1, support 2, support 3. Notice 1, 2, and then the third one. So price at this point started going back, came to this point, it went back. So I just connect here and here, and immediately after connecting these 2 points, waited for it. I don't know when next is coming to test this area, but because this area has been holding, price has a history of respecting this diagonal line, now this trend line, and then came here, respected it, broke out, and continued moving. And notice how much you would have made from this trade. And can you see? Look very well. If you see, you can see here is another diagonal resistance here. Now I'm interested in connecting the first 2 points, and that's all. Can you see? Point 1, point 2, then the third one, it wasn't too strong, entering into the apex of a triangle, and from there it broke out. And notice the kind of massive ride. Oh my god, how many pips movement was this? This was around 277 pips before it started falling. So if you understand the concept of support and resistance, believe me, and you know how to really follow it, trade it very well, the right way to trade it, combining it with price action. Now it doesn't necessarily have to be bar by bar analysis, but if you understand the simple techniques involved in price action, then you will not have any problem at all. Because all you have to do is come to the chart, plot in these lines, either the horizontal or the diagonal, wait for prices to get to there, because as a genuine trader, as a profitable trader, you don't chase trades. You know that these trades will always come to you, and then you wait for them. The moment they get there, they give you any form of candlestick pattern that you recognize, and then boom, you strike in either with your pending order or executing at market price. So, and that's just it. So I've already shown you the horizontal support and resistance, and then the diagonal support and resistance. So now, how do you find this support and resistance? That will be the next thing. Now, the number one way you should know on how to find support and resistance, because you don't just, you are in the 15 minutes time frame, you just jump into it, and then you see a particular line, a particular place, you just connect the 2 points horizontally and expect that this. No, for you to be able to get support and resistance lines that can be trusted, that can be reliable, you really need to start from the higher time frame. And that is why sometimes, depending on the type of trader you are, you can start even as far as somewhere from the weekly down to the daily, to the 4 hours chart, 1 hour chart, and then even to the smaller time frames. Now it depends on whether you are using the TradingView platform or the MetaTrader 5 platform. You can have even the 8 hours and the 2 hours time frame, but basically this will also do. So if I want to get a very strong support and resistance line, let's say the diagonal now, the horizontal line now, notice what I will do. The first thing I'm going to do is to first of all come down here, look out for areas where, can you see, then look for that of the support as well. Did you notice? So this is basically the range in which this market was trading. This market was just ranging all this while until it broke out from here and started moving. That's from the daily. So now, for someone who understands the concept of support and resistance, going down to the 4 hours time frame, notice what happens. Can you see? Let's look at it. Can you see? So you already know that there is this area that no matter what happens, price is really going to respect. Are you seeing it? Right from here, it respected. It got almost close to it, even likewise the support line, and then from there until it broke out from here. So if you really want to find strong lines, you have to start drawing your support and resistance lines from the higher time frame. So you draw from the higher time frame, you go down to the smaller time frame and look for also this support and resistance lines in the smaller time frame. Now you can use different colors for them so as not to make it not confusing. Okay, assuming this line was drawn in history already, because when this horizontal line was first drawn, we don't have access to it in the 4 hours. So while it was like that, I can come down to the 4 hours and draw another line and probably choose this to be red. Can you see? Then okay, try to see the possible support line I can see. Try to see the possible support lines I can see. And mind you, if you look very well, you can see that there are also opportunities. Now the diagonal support lines that you can see. Can you see? Let's label this red. There are also horizontal support lines. Are you seeing? I just connected these two. I don't know where next is ever going to come back to it. It may not, but somehow in the future it will. And that's one thing about trading. That's one thing about prices. So then the next place you go down to 1 hour. Now notice this. Can you see this? I just drew this. When I drew it, can you see? This was a previous resistance line, now turned support. Can you see how it kept holding? Although the price was ranging within that period, but it held it. Now go down to 1 hour and see the impact. It looked like price didn't move from there, but notice this. Can you see price taking off from here, somewhere around here, all the way to here, 157 pips. What else will you ask for? Knowing fully well that, notice, whenever it came back here again, it also went back. So came back here again, went back. Now for the last time, it came to this place again and then left again. And that's just how these things work. You really need to see these things from the points that as in from a different perspective, not what you've been taught, not what you used to see it to be. And that's why there is need for patience in forex trading. Without being a patient trader, you can't make money from this market. And the same thing goes for even the diagonal support and resistance. You begin to draw from the higher time frame and then go down to the smaller time frame. You understand? Now look at that same line that was drawn in 1 hour. We have this line. Notice this. Can you see this? So let's use horizontal vertical line, so to say, to mark it so that we can know that okay, this is what it is. So go down to 15 minutes. Now look at this. I want you to see where it started and where exactly it's going to be. Okay, finding it difficult locating it, but I really need to show you this. Okay, this should be around September. That should be around 26th of October 2020. And let me zoom in gradually. Okay, can you see? Switch back to 15 minutes so you see properly. Okay, what exactly do I need to show you here? Okay, now look at this. So say this. So now notice this red line. Look very well at this red line. Can you see the advantage, the importance of drawing your support and resistance lines from the higher time frame? So notice this. You scale down to the small time frame and you can clearly see what you're doing with precision. Can you see? And then you take good trades. Are you seeing? And that's just how it works. So if you want to be taking trades from a particular section. Now, how to take a trade? If you want to take a trade, you will have to understand price action, and there will be need for you to watch my video on price action, because if you watch my video on price action, you will actually understand how to take trades from this point without even being doubtful of your trade, without even wanting to have a second thought that no, this trade is, without second guessing yourself. And that's what I'll be showing you in the next video. So when next we come, I'll be teaching you, because this video we have a second part where I'll be treating support and resistance now as a zone, as an area, and from there probably we'll now be talking about demand and supply. So that's it for this class. If you are yet to subscribe, please ensure you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell icon, as well as share this video with those you know that will need this video. Thank you very much for watching to the very end of this video. I will see you in the next video. Peace.